he decided he wanted to create a sustainable company where 1-for-1 was core to the business. So for every pair of shoes you bought, a pair of shoes was given to a child in need. We've given 86 million pairs of shoes in 12 years through the support of our consumers. This is done, to be clear, not solely by TOMS. All we are is the bridge from a consumer to a beneficiary. And we work with anywhere between 50 and 70 giving partners around the world who are very specific in their knowledge of the region and of the impact that's needed. The interesting part of TOMS is that we actually co-owned by Bain Capital, which when I first joined, I was like, that kind of doesn't add up. I don't understand why a private investment company would actually want to own quite a challenging business model where it's kind of proven that in the normal state of being, massive growth is not predicted because of just where we're at in a very busy, competitive footwear market, but then also just on, if you do the math, it's quite challenging. But Bain are very committed to help us succeed because they're very interested in proving that this business model actually can work. So the point of how we're going to innovate is we started to look at our consumers. Because as I said, 86 million pairs of shoes is not because we decided to do that. It's because we wanted to take the power of the consumer and turn it into something good. So our mission is using business to improve the lives of others. So there are a couple of steps we've taken. One, we want to start being a really serious business because the more money we make, the more impact we make. So hopefully it's a little bit of a combination of capitalism and Buddhism in the fact that it's one for one, so $1 for a good deed. And we looked at that. We're really looking at becoming a well-oiled machine from that point of view. But then we're looking at the consumer and what do they care about? Do they care about sending a pair of shoes to a child somewhere else? Do they actually care that someone else can't see and therefore, are more at risk of hurting themselves or actually just not being autonomous and living a more dignified life? And what we've seen is that consumers are far more concerned about what's happening in their own backyard now. I think we can all agree it sometimes feels like the world's going to hell in a handbasket at the moment, and there's this feeling of helplessness that we see with a lot of our consumers, especially millennials and Gen Z. They actually really want to have purpose. They want to do good, but they literally don't know how to do it. So I think it's the role of brands in this space to give them a platform to engage, to make it easy. In the area of sustainability, if you want to run with the big dogs, you can't piss like a puppy. So you've got to really up your game and kind of have the data to prove it. So I'm down to less than a minute. I hope that was insightful, and something that we believe fiercely at TOMS is never doubt that a small group of concerned citizens can change the world. After all, it's the only thing that ever has. And that is a picture of me on my giving trip in Peru, which actually got all emotional. It's funny. Yeah, that was on the trip with we gave shoes. We gave away about 1,500 pairs of shoes in 3 days. I don't speak Spanish. It was really limited. But as you can see, you don't really need language when you've got emotion.